Today, my friends, we're going to be taking a look at the top 5 Town Hall 11 attack strategies that are the most consistent after the spring update. Now, we are going to be breaking down each of them, as well as talking about how consistent they are, and also going over base identification. So, at the number 5 spot is going to be the Queen Charge Lalo, and the main reason to why I put it down to the 5th, or I guess to the 5th spot, is due to the fact that it isn't as reliable as other strategies are. There are a lot more strategies that are more consistent, and they take less of the skill in terms of a Queen Charge. So the whole idea of it, though, is still quite strong, but very hard to master, and not too many bases are open to it. So Hybrid is usually used a lot, Drag Bat's usually used a lot, Packable Bat is sometimes here and there, but it's still a good strategy. Maybe on this base, you probably wouldn't hit Packable Bat with this one, just me. But the main thing that you're looking for when you're doing a Queen Charge Lalo is you're looking for the enemy CC, enemy Queen, and the air defense, at least one. Any other air targeting defenses, Eagle, Inferno, Wizard Tower, Archer Tower, Air Super, Expo, those are all going to be extra value, also including Teslas. And actually, any other, sinking airmines, red air bombs, those are going to be stuff that you can also pull as well. And air skellies. So, that kind of gives you guys an idea of what your key objectives are. But, in terms of, a base like this, where would you really charge? Now, if you're saying we should Queen Charge here, then it's not such a good idea because you're going into 2 expos and then a ground expo too. So it may look easy, but it's really not. And there's also storages right by that section. But if we look at up here, there's only the town hall. So realistically, this is the best area over here to charge in. And if we charge into this compartment, which is housing that eagle, it's a big compartment. That means that we're going to be able to jump in there. So that because of this spot right here, we can jump right over those 2 compartments. And what this now gives us is once we're in here, we can get a lot of value. And you're going to see that in the example. The queen's going to be able to work her way, take out these buildings. She's going to charge her way in, and she's also going to take out these, take out the eagle, take out this as well. So basically getting all the wizard towers, which is awesome value. On top of that, getting the eagle and air defense, and also getting rid of the CC and queen. That's a lot of good value there. So that really just goes to show the capabilities of a Aphelion and why the attacker chose to Queen Charge there. So the idea, though, is you're going to be setting one side of the funnel here with the baby dragon. You're going to typically use a coconut loon there. And then what you're also going to do on the opposite side is have your king go this way. Maybe have a wizard in there, but that is going to be making sure that the queen goes into the right direction. So then the queen's going to walk here, break into here, and then she's going to be able to get the value there, and then the Lalo ensues. So you're going to take a look at an example where we're going to be seeing the Aphelion. Well, we're going to see the Queen Charge. We're going to give you guys the example of the Queen Charge and the Aphelion. So you'll see right here is that we're using the baby dragon to cut off the other side of the funnel. You'll see right here is that we have the king. We have a couple balloons going to this archer tower to take it out, but it won't be... Actually, no, it will be enough, or not nearly enough. But you'll see that the king is going to work his way down here. So instead of going towards that archer tower, which is going to get taken out by the barbarians, that allows him to create that solid funnel. So you'll see that as he's working into the base, you may think he's going to work his way down this way, but he's not. He's going to continue to work his way around here. Pops the jump spell right there, and now see how he's going to be able to get into the base. I really want you guys to pay attention on what the attacker is doing here. Now he's going to use his wall breakers. It's really not a big deal here because the jump already connected a big open compartment. But you'll see right here we're going to be raging up the queen because we are going into the sort of expo range. But on top of that, we're also going to be going into some damage. Now, the CC here is actually an all-ground, or mostly ground CC. It is an archer and a golem CC. So, typically, you won't see that. But when you're dealing with stuff like Baby Dragon, E-Drag, really any of those type of damage CCs, then those are going to be really easy with the poison. What you'll see right here is that we're going to deal with both the enemy CC and Queen with the poison. That's going to slow both of them down. We're even going to freeze the enemy Queen so that then she can deal with the golems. And as that's happening, we are already guaranteed to take her out because we still have the ability. What you'll see right here is that we're sending in our Lalo. We only have 2 Lava Hounds, but we also have the Stone Slammer. So you'll see that we have a couple groups going into each of these, and then we have 2 Lava Hounds going in, and then we also have the Stone Slammer that's right behind. So haste spells, in terms of haste, remember that you want to use those when you're clumping them up in a group to those key objectives or key buildings. So stuff like air defenses, expos, wizard towers, multi-infernos, archer towers, and I think Teslas as well. Those are all going to be very key buildings to sort of haste into. So it kind of gives you guys a solid idea of what I'm talking about in terms of haste. So haste is a really good spell as long as you use it properly. Like I said before, making sure they can get to stuff like air defenses, infernos, Teslas, archer towers, getting through air sweepers, wizard towers. Those are and of course the eagle, but those are going to be your really big things. So with that being said, that gives you guys a really solid look into using it. I didn't really talk about the Grand Ward's ability. You should be using the Grand Ward's ability in order to sort of protect a lot of your balloons, especially underneath a multi-inferno. So just remember to keep that in mind. So let's go ahead and move on into our number 4 strategy, which is going to be Queen Charge or Queen Walk Mass Miner. At number 4, we are going to be taking a look at Queen Charge Mass Miner. Now, Queen Charge Mass Miner, as far as you can see right here on this base, it's a little bit weird. So the idea, though, of this is, of course, we're using the new super wall breakers, which are, above all else, super good. I'm using them at Tunnel 13, even in CWL, and they are definitely really good. But you'll see that but basically the idea, though, is that all we're trying to do is try to get in to lure out and kill the enemy CC, and then any other value is ours. But what we're trying to do is basically narrow down the base here, which then leaves us with just funneling this side, and then we can send in our miners here. So that is sort of the idea. Now, the reason that it's at number 4 is because it's still more consistent, but not as consistent as the next 3. Realistically, miners have sort of started to drop out, and I've kind of started to notice that as well. Definitely, they're not as powerful, like, as just pure mass miner as it used to be, because hybrid right now is dominating the meta. So, if you really want to use a strategy that uses miners, then Miner Hog Hybrid is definitely better. But the idea, though, is that we're dealing with the CC, and then just creating a funnel there, and then we're going to use the Siege Barrack. If you don't have access to it, then I'm going to say use the King there, but you're going to have to make sure that he gets more value than anything else. Because you got to make sure that you're creating a solid funnel to keep the miners in. That's why the Siege Barrack is used in this case. Just to make sure that that funnel has been set. So with that being said, that gives you guys a solid look into using the strategy. Really, it's not that difficult. The CC here is a golem. However, the biggest thing is, and this is really important, golem can actually wreck miners. So the idea is to take that out. So consider that a big thing for you guys to sort of learn. I've seen it before. Miners are definitely weak to golems, to a golem CC. So the idea, though, is you want to make sure that you're taking that out with a charge. So you'll see right here is that the attacker is going to be creating that funnel for the queen with a balloon and wizard right behind, just to make sure that she's going to go into the right direction. We're going to use one super wall breaker, like you saw right there, that opened up just a little bit, but we're going to use another one to break us into the air defense compartment. There's a lot of like small compartments in this base, but you'll see right here, this is where our queen gets really low on health. But you'll see right here is that we're just going to narrowly keep her alive with the rage spell. Remember that you're gonna need to use those. Rages are always going to be used first before the ability. You'll see that she's gonna deal with the king, and then she's also gonna deal with the golem and the balloon. But you'll see that right here, she's already sort of created that funnel just enough for the miners, so the attacker now can actually go ahead, like you see right here. You can already go ahead and start creating the funnel over here with the king and the siege barrack. Then, as far as that is concerned, you've already cut the base down, so now the miners can start going into the base like this. That is really how simple this strategy is. Now, considering the Warden ability, remember that you want to use this really early on to protect your miners. So you'll see right here, the Warden ability will be popped right about now. That's going to allow your miners to stay alive, especially when they're going to be getting hit by a lot of heavy fire. And the idea, though, is you want to make sure that they are staying alive for as long as possible. So don't burn a bunch of rage spells. But the same idea is that when you're using this, that you got to make sure that if you have another rage or even, more heals, make sure that you use them with the miners. They're going to get a lot more value, like the rage like you see right here. Rage is going to be, such a great synergy with them. Heal is also a great synergy with miners, as they're just able to really heal through, that damage, even if they're underground, I believe. So that is sort of the Queen Charge Mass Miners. That gives you guys a solid look into using this strategy. So if you guys are interested, definitely try this strategy out. It's definitely very good in farming, and also if you're in CWL. So it's definitely a good strategy. Definitely try it out in FCs though first if you're not used to it, but it's a very simple strategy. So if you guys made it this far, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. But with that being said, let's move on to number 3, which is going to be Drag Bat. At number 3, we've got Drag Bat, and Drag Bat is a very simple strategy. I mean, this strategy is definitely very consistent. This can be used on a lot of different base designs. I mean, dragons are very strong. Ring bases, not a problem. Dragons really deal with a lot of bases. And Drag Bat is no exception. It's super easy to use. There is really no sort of, other than base identification, of course, it is still very important. Like, you've got to take a look at where you're entering in, how much splash are you getting, and stuff like that. So considering this base here, we've got a wizard tower here, 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 and here. However, we don't need to nearly get as many of these. As long as we can go up in this direction here, because we can actually get maybe 2 to 3 of those wizard towers. We have an ice golem for the top wizard tower here because of the range. So we can actually take advantage of that with the ice golem. That's going to offer us a lot of good value. So the idea, though, of this is to basically carve out a funnel. So you'll see that we're going to drop in an E-drag on this side and on this side on the town hall. And basically we're just going to clear out this section here, this section here. Now this gives us easy pathing into the base with the dragons. That is how simple it is. Sending in your dragons, balloons, and then your Stone Slimer and Grand Warden. That is it. That is how simple this strategy really is. I can't say too much. Now, of course, you sometimes want to be very careful of air sweepers. However, you'll see right here, we're only going to have one, and that one air sweeper, it's going to be blowing us back. But as long as we create a funnel, we should be set, and we should be allowed to keep our dragons in the base at all times. So that's really how simple this strategy really is. So you'll see we're going to start off with the E-Drags. Now you may be wondering, why are we not starting with a Sui hero? Well, because we have 2 E-Drags, we really don't need to use a Sui hero this early. We can actually use it later on, just to clear up value and stuff. Or I guess to clear up the outside structures. So you'll see right here is that we are going to be getting some chain value there from the E-Drag, but that's going to allow us to create that funnel in just enough so for our Drag Bat. So you'll see, we're just being very patient here. Once the sort of dragons have sort of cleared out that funnel, we can then send in our dragons and our Stone Slimer, as well as our Grand Warden and balloons, as they enter into the base. First initial rage is usually going to be used in order to get everything into the base, So you'll see right here is that we're using our Sui hero up top. That just allows them to continue the funnel down there. And then the Warden ability, and we're just trying to protect everything, especially going under heavy fire. Now, we don't get all of our troops, but we're still going to get something out of it. So you'll see that we did take out at least one of those splash buildings. We're about to take out 2 more. And you'll see from here is that as we're working there, you'll see this top section. Let's pay attention to this. So the idea is we're dropping in the bat bomb, rage, freeze, bats, and then we're also going to use the ice golem there first in order to tank for the bats as they move in. Then they're just going to work themselves around the base. So we're going to use the freeze spells in order to deal with them. After the eagle goes down, which it is a splash building, mind you, if it targets your bats, then just remember your bats are toast. If they are too close to an air target or an air troop, then most likely they are going to die from a red air bomb. So there's just a lot of key things to remember, but that kind of gives you guys a very solid example of using Dragbat at Town Hall 11. But let's go ahead and move on into our second spot, which is going to be Packable Bat. So here we go, guys. We have the number 2 spot, which is going to be Packable Bat. This is a very consistent strategy. I would say that definitely more consistent than Dragbat, even though I didn't see it as much in this war. Really, the wall wrecker is really strong. I mean, come on. You are going to get a lot of good value. Now, if you're dealing with going into a single Inferno or double single, so let's say like this one is single, then basically you may want to bring an extra freeze, or what you may want to try and do is use your Grand Warden ability earlier on. That way what you're going to be able to do is actually protect everything. Because remember, your P.E.K.K.A.s, your bowlers, and realistically everything else, they're going to be in front of your wall wrecker for the most part. They're going to be tanking for it for a little bit. That really is going to allow you to get into the base with your wall wrecker. So don't worry too much. If you are worried, maybe use a freeze, since you probably won't need all of them. But definitely you may need some of them. At least 2 to probably even 3 of them, like you see right here. So the idea, though, is that with this strategy, you look at the town hall, which is right down there, and then what you want to do is you want to take a look at the splash buildings. So if we look at right here, we can actually get a lot more of the splash buildings if we go in like this. If we do that, then that gets us basically this one here, 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 and also this building. That is a lot of really good value there. And oh yeah, and the and of course the eagle. So those are going to be the big things. More specifically, the eagle and an inferno are going to be your key objectives. But very simple strategy nonetheless. So that is all the base identification. That's really it. So the idea, though, is you're looking for as much splash as possible. That way you can take advantage of it with the freeze and the bats on as a bat wave. So definitely this is going to give you guys a solid example. However, what's going to happen is the queen's not going to work her way in. Typically, you want your queen to go into the base. It wasn't the best attack in terms of the queen going in the right direction. She will be able to take out the enemy CC, which is always going to be a good thing. But you'll see that the queen is going to work her way down, which is not always going to be the thing that you want her to do. So you'll see right here is that we're going to have to pop her ability, so we didn't use a rage, but then the queen's going to work her way down instead of going to the archer or to the cannon, and that's going to kind of cause a couple wonky things, but we're going to deal with the enemy CC. As long as we're dealing with the damage CC with the queen, then we don't need to worry about anything else. So you'll see that as we're now working our way in, we used a couple P.E.K.K.A.s to create the funnel, but now what we've got is we've got the wall wrecker going in with the P.E.K.K.A. and the bowlers. Even though the queen would be a big help in the base, like you see right here, if she doesn't go in, just continue with the strategy as long as you dealt with the queen. So you'll see where we pop the warden ability really early. So if you're dealing with like something like a single inferno, that is going to be what you're going to do. So you'll see as we're driving our way into the base, we are using the rage spells, and also we use the Grand Warden's ability a little bit earlier in order to protect everything. But you'll see that everything is sort of starting to thin out a little bit. So all we have really is the Grand Warden and that Stone Slammer, or the Wall Wrecker, I'm sorry. But that is where that P.E.K.K.A. is really going to come into play from there. And on top of this, as well, is that we have the Bat Wave going in. A Bat Wave is being on the outskirts of the base, like you see right here, and they're basically going towards defense to defense. That's sort of the idea. So we want to freeze up stuff like the Wizard Towers. We want to deal with, basically we just want to freeze over the defenses that are really going to hit the bats hard. Specifically, Expos, especially if they're not being overwhelmed. And then also Wizard Towers. So those are going to be your big sort of things to take out. But you'll see right here, easily going to be able to wipe those out, and easily is going to be able to get through this base. So that's sort of the idea. It wasn't the cleanest, but it still gives you guys a solid outlook into using this strategy. So, with that being said, what is the #1 strategy to use right now in Clash of Clans at Town Hall 11? Let's find out. So, you have to guess it. It is, of course, Miner Hog Hybrid. And you'll see right here, we've got a pretty lopsided amount of miners and hogs. So, the whole idea is that it's really based on personal preference. I mean, do you prefer bringing more miners or more hogs, or even an even amount? So, most of the time, actually, it's better to bring more miners than hogs, or at least an even amount. That's really going to be up to you, how much you actually have to funnel and stuff like that. So that's going to be the whole idea. Now, what about not having access to a siege barracks? Well, I actually made a hybrid guide. Feel free to go ahead and check the card. That's going to be up here. Check out that guide. I actually have an example of a Yeti bomb. That way you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. So I highly recommend you guys check out that guide. It's very good, and it really breaks down the strategy down to the bone. So with that being said, this strategy is still very simple. We are using the siege barrack. We're going to use it right here to create the funnel. We have a king right here in order to sort of help the queen in terms of creating a funnel for her. We've also got a baby dragon over here that's going to help funnel the queen that way. And then we've got the queen to charge right into this area. The idea, though, is we're dealing with the CC, also trying to create a funnel there, maybe get the eagle, which is always a plus. And then after that, we can send in our miners right into here, and they're going to work their way down this way. So that is basically the whole thing of this strategy. Super simple. Base identification, realistically, you're just looking for an area where, hey, I can get an eagle. If not, that's fine. All I have to look for is the CC. If I can get any other value along with the CC, that's good. That's actually really good. So that is going to be the whole idea that you've got to sort of think about there. What you'll see right here is that we are just creating the funnel for our queen. That way she's going to be able to work her way into the base. And then realistically, we're just going to be able to get a lot of value from her. Now, of course, I say value a lot, and I understand you guys probably are tired of me saying that, but I mean, that's the biggest thing when it comes down to attack strategies. It's value. It's what you get from your attack, from your kill squad. That is the biggest thing. That's why I just want to try and repeat over and over to get into your guys' head. It's just to make sure that you are getting enough of what you need to allow your attack to succeed. So you'll see what we're doing. We've got our queen charging in. She's going to deal with the enemy CC, which is a lava hound. So it's not too bad to deal with. What you'll see from here is that we're using this king and also the siege barrack to sort of create that funnel down here. So you'll see how easy it is after those get taken out to send the miners in here and then send in the hogs and then the Grand Warden. So that then we also have the hogs going in here. So we have about an even number of both going into the base. So we've got heal spells being used. Remember that you want to heal up both of them. So you'll see another heal spell before the Warden ability. The Warden ability really needs to be used to really protect both the miners and hogs, especially the hog riders. So you'll see as they're going in, even though miners will sometimes sort of go onto the outside here, as long as we have a fair chunk still in the base, they can really synergize very well with those hog riders. They can really protect them from anything like skeleton spells or skeleton traps, I'm sorry. And that's going to really allow them to get through a lot of these different type of bases. But that, my friends, really just goes to show on how strong this strategy really is. If you are interested in using a strategy like this, remember I have a card up here so that then you guys can take a look at that video and see if you guys want to sort of use that one. So with that being said, guys, that's going to do it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys did, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell in order to join the Corrupt fam. Also, feel free to go ahead and join my community Discord server, which there's a link in the description, as well as any of my social medias. All 3 links are in the description for my Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. All 3 links are in the description, along with if you guys want to join any of the clans I cover within this game of Clash of Clans, then feel free to go ahead and join any of their Discords if you have what it takes to join as a sort of, or join in League Wars. But with that being said, guys, that's going to do it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll be seeing you guys next time. Corrupt, signing out.